Living in denial can be a good thing. Hello, y'all. I'm Diana Brienne. So we often think of denial as only a bad thing. Oh, well, you're denying the situation. And I think if we're denying a solution, then it's not a good thing to deny. You know, we have to address a problem. But when is or is it a good thing to use denial? Well, when my husband got cancer, he had end-stage cancer. Now, he's 100% cancer-free today. And at first, you know, the reality came as a shock. And so we had to address the reality. We had to plan for the worst and hope for the best. But we planned for the what-ifs, and we got all the ducks in a row, so to speak, as if the worst was going to happen. And then after everything was in place, you know, the medical treatment that he was going to take, the doctors, the right medical treatment, and everything else that needed to go into place, we then went and lived in the land of denial, meaning that instead of saying the reality says he may die, instead of saying that, we began to say he's going to live. Now, that was pretty much opposite of the reality that we were facing at that time, but we were denying it. So was that a good thing? Well, I think it was, because what happened at that point was we began to generate only positive thinking and coming up with solution after solution after solution and looking for solutions. Had we resorted to, yep, he's going to die, then what may have happened is we may have quit looking for possible solutions. And it could have very well happened that that would have happened. But instead, we looked for positive solutions, ways to get through that. We lived in the land of denial after addressing the issue to the best that we could. So initially, we addressed it. We continued to address it realistically, but we switched gears from thinking he was going to die to knowing he was going to live. So we empowered ourselves with positive thinking. The mind is a very powerful tool. So we began to look at all the medical options, all the holistic options, and generating positive thoughts. And like I said, the mind will often send us into a direction that we are programming it. So we were programmed towards wellness instead of death. So yes, probably most people thought we were living in denial, but we weren't. We were addressing the issue to the best of our ability while keeping our mind focused on life and living and great health again. And so some would call that living in the land of denial. So I think when we don't have a solution, sometimes the only solution is to deny the outcome, the negative outcome, so that we can, you know, address all the things that we need to address first, and then believe that you're going to succeed in the way that you want. So I don't give recommendations or advice or suggestions to anybody. I'm just telling you how I see it. I have a friend going through a terminal diagnosis right now. I told my friend to address all the practical issues, the way ahead medically with, you know, their doctors, and the way ahead, you know, making sure financial things were all in line, and the people that they needed to tell. And then I said, then you need to go into the land of denial, so to speak, to, well, I didn't tell them that, but I said, you know, we went through the land of denial. And what I meant by that is we believed in that he was going to be well, that he was going to be well, that it was all going to work out. My daddy lived his whole life like that. It's all going to be okay. It's all going to work out. It's all going to be all right. And he lived his whole life like that, and he lived to a very old age, and so did my grandpa. My grandpa made it to 99 3/4 with that attitude. And, you know, things didn't always turn out the way they had hoped or the way they wanted, okay? And sometimes things don't turn out the way we want, but we're so much further ahead by thinking positive, thinking can do, that we can make it through this, that we can get through this. And we keep our mind focused on that, because often we will generate solutions that were not there in the beginning. And positive thinking in itself, after addressing the reality, Remember, you still address reality all along the way, but you do it from a different perspective. Instead of from I'm going to die to I'm going to live, but I'm going to address the issues so that I can live and I can be healthy again. And so even though my friend was given this death sentence, so to speak, they are focused on being well. They're realistic, they understand, they know what the, possibility is, and they're prepared for that. And yet, they're focusing on wellness and being well. Okay? So, like I said, I don't give advice or suggestions, but the way I live my life is, especially if there is no apparent solution, then I believe in living in the land of denial, because if nothing else, it's comforting. It's comforting to believe that you will be well. It's comforting to know that you will get through that crisis in a marriage. It's comforting to know that, everything is going to be all right. My daddy always said it's all going to work out. Now, he didn't always know how it was going to work out, but it always did work itself out one way or the other. And so we always want to hope for the very, very best. From my house to yours, may God bless you. I hope you like, share, subscribe, and I hope to talk to you soon again. Bye-bye.